Okay, good morning, everybody. This is the Committee on Water and Land. My name is Mark Hashem. To the left of me is my Vice Chair, Dee Morikawa. And today is Tuesday, February 17th, 2026. It's 9 a.m. We're in conference room 411 at the state capitol. It's rules that we have to go through before we start. First of all, I ask you, we have read all your testimony, so please don't read your testimony and just sum it up. We need to get to the floor session today by 12 o'clock. If not, all the bills on the agenda die. So please sum up your testimony. We have it all here, or I have it all here. That way we can have everybody testify. For everybody on Zoom, please stay muted and your video off until we call you. And the Zoom chat function, you can chat with the technical staff and not with us. So as you can see, I don't have a computer in front of me. If you're disconnected on Zoom, you may attempt to rejoin, and our tech support will try our best to put you on if we have enough time in the event. But the House is not responsible for tech failure on your end. If in the event of network failure on our side, it may be necessary to reschedule the hearing. If we do so, we will reschedule, we'll post an appropriate notice will be posted. Please avoid using any trademark materials in your Zoom or chat functions. Refrain from profanity or uncivil behavior. If you do that, we will remove you from the hearing or disconnect you from Zoom. With that, first up we have HB 1817 relating to protecting Hawaii's fisheries. First testifier we have DLNR with comments.
Aloha Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, Brian Nielsen on behalf of Department of Land and Natural Resources. We appreciate the intent of this bill and offer some comments. Department biologists feel probably the number one strain on the ama populations have been the diversion of freshwater flows. Places like Kalauha'i in your district, Rep. Hashem, that have been cut off, have basically cut off the food source for juvenile ama. So we feel that's the number one stressor. That's not to say that fisheries regulations are unneeded to sustain those populations that are currently throughout the state, but we feel that a process working with fishers and stakeholders at a place-by-place basis would probably be the most effective approach to develop fisheries rules, but appreciate the passion. Also want to acknowledge the Waiahole Elementary School. I did read the testimony, and we'd be happy to have one of our biologists come speak to the class or invite the class to a site visit where we sample ama population. So mahalo.
Okay. Next up we have Waiahole Elementary in person. Shall we have, how do you want to do this? Do you have it, yeah, can the teacher come up first and you call up your students rather than me trying to figure out who? Go ahead.
Sure. All right. Good morning, Chair Hashem, Vice Chair Morikawa, and members of the committees. My name is Crystal Impalmato. I'm the 6th grade teacher at Waiahole Elementary, and I'm here along with my students to testify in support of HB 1817 relating to creating a bag limit for the ama fish. My students have been working hard researching the decline of ama or striped mullet in Hawaii. They analyzed historical catch data, discussed sustainability, and even helped to draft this bill along with Representative Lisa Kitagawa that supports restoring these native fish populations and strengthening local food systems. As a class, we were able to taste ama together and the students loved it. Seeing them enjoy this traditional food made the issue real for them. They began asking, will future generations have this opportunity? What happens if we don't protect it now? Now my students are ready to use their voices by testifying in support of Bill HB 1817. I'm excited for you to hear those voices today so that you might understand why this bill is so important to the future generations of Hawaii. Mahalo for this opportunity to testify.
Thank you. Next up. Right. So when you start, just state your name.
Good morning, Chair Hashem, Vice Chair Morikawa, members of the committees. My name is Kian Henriquez and I'm here to testify in support of HB 1817 to creating a bag limit for the ama fish. I grew up as a fisherman and my grandpa was also a fisherman. He used to tell me when he went fishing there's always groups of ama and the groups are big. He told me when they jump out the water they always used to lay the eggs, but nowadays you barely see small piles of the native ama. I support this bill because the ama fish is competing with invasive species. Ama are facing stiff competition from the invasive condom mullet. Condom mullet spawn year-round and grow quickly, and they easily outnumber the native ama, making it even more important to manage the harvest of the native ama population. If this bill does not pass, then the ama might go extinct due to overfishing and getting taken over by the invasive condom mullet. Again, I'm in strong support of this bill. Thank you for the opportunity to testify. Have a great day, mahalo.
Thank you. Next.
Good morning, Chair Hashem, Vice Chair Morikawa, and members of the committee. My name is Kalava Purdy, and I'm here to testify in support of HB 1817 relating to creating a bag limit for the ama fish. My name is Kalava, and it means the great fisherman. I spent a lot of time when I was younger. I went fishing with my dad, and we caught lots of ama. Now when I go fishing, I do not see any ama. Seeing ama makes me happy because it tastes good. I support this bill because it's important that the ama does not go extinct. By setting a bag limit, the ama has a chance to keep the population going for generations. The ama is going extinct. We need to make sure its generations go on to still last. It was important to many communities in our Hawaiian history. In 2023, they had a fish count. They caught 100 mullet, and they were all conda, an invasive mullet. Not a single ama was found. This is why I support HB 1817. I'm available for any questions. Thank you for the opportunity to testify. Have a great day, mahalo.
Good morning, Chair Hashem, Vice Chair Morikawa, and members of the committee. My name is Kuo Cabral, and I am testifying in support of 1817 relating to creating a bag limit for the ama fish. I support this bill because the population of ama is going down. What I know about the ama fish is how to scale it, gut it, and cook it, and also heard stories of it. One of those stories I remember hearing is that people would guard the ama until it was time to be fished, because it was so popular that they wanted the population to stay high and not go down. This matters because if we don't make the bill, the ama will go extinct. These reasons are why I support HB 1817. I am available for any questions. Thank you for the opportunity to testify. Have a good day, mahalo.
Good morning, Chair Hashem, Vice Chair Morikawa, and the members of the committee. My name is Cara Suliato, and I'm here to testify in support of HB 1817 relating to creating a bag limit for the ama fish. The ama, a native Hawaiian fish, has been decreasing rapidly. Fishermen and residents on Oahu have also seen a big decrease of the ama fish over the years. Based on historical data, the harvest of ama has declined 99.2% in just 118 years. This is over 694,500 pounds difference in a 188 year. Local Ian fishermen produced and caught over 700,000 pounds of ama fish in 1903, which decreased to 70,000 pounds by 1943, then dropped to 5,500 pounds in 2021. An experience that I had with the ama was being able to eat it and cook it. I'm grateful for this opportunity of getting to do that, and I hope that everyone gets this experience that I was able to have. The only way people can get this experience is if we save the ama from going extinct. I'm available for any questions. Thank you for the opportunity to testify. Have a great day, mahalo.
Good morning, Chair Hashem, Vice Chair Boykawa, and members from the community. My name is Kalain Ka'ahu. I'm here to testify and support the HB 1817, realizing to creating a bag limit for the ama fish. I care about the ama. My uncle told me stories about the olden days when ama started migrating at Port Harbor and go all around the island to Laie. Then they turn around and go back to Port Harbor. They would spawn in a whole way. There were so many fish. I go fishing with my brothers in Papa, and I never seen ama probably because they are might going extinct. I believe in this bill because if not, we have no ama to feed our family. Thank you for this opportunity to testify. Have a great day and mahalo.
Good morning, Chair Hashem, Vice Chair Morikawa, and the members of the committees. My name is Casey McKenzie, and I'm here to testify in support of the HB 1817 related to creating a bag limit for the ama fish. When my grandpa was younger, he used to walk along the beach, and he liked fishing, so he looked for fish. He saw huge groups of ama. Every time he went, there was always less and less ama. Nowadays, there are barely any groups of ama. I think this is sad because the ama is special, and the future generations wouldn't get to see this fish. The ama would be extinct by the time the future generations get to eat something like the ama. I support this bill because the ama is outnumbered by the conda, and the ama may go extinct. The conda is an invasive species, which is taking over habitats and eats the same food. Since there are more conda than the ama, and they eat the same food, which is limu, there would be less food for the ama, and it could die. Evidence shows that in the 1990s, shoreline fishers reported that 80% of poor ama schools were actually conda. This is very bad, and this means that the conda is taking over the ama. If this bill does not pass, then the ama could go extinct, and the future generations would be affected and wouldn't get to eat the fish like the ama. Again, I'm in strong support of this bill. Thank you for the opportunity to testify. Have a great day. Mahalo.
Good morning, Chair Hashem, Vice Chair Morikawa, and members of the committees. My name is Elani Richardson, and I'm here to testify in support of HB 1817 relating to creating a bag limit for the ama fish. One of the things I've experienced with ama was when our class had the opportunity to cook the ama fish. After prepping and chopping the ingredients, we finally tasted the ama. It was incredibly fresh and flavorful. It tasted like no other fish I've ever tried. I would want everyone to try this, and the only way we can is if we protect the ama. I support this bill because Oahu is losing more and more of the ama, and Hawaiians value the ama. The ama is a native Hawaiian mullet that holds a place of deep respect and cultural significance in Hawaiian culture. In ancient times, the ama fish was used in special ceremonies to honor the Hawaiian god Lono. Today, ama are one of the most important fish in Hawaii and are cultured in large fish ponds in coastal regions. I care about this bill because if we don't preserve this fish and create this bill, then future generations will not be able to try this fish, and then it will be forgotten native Hawaiian food source. This is why I support Bill HB 1817. I'm available for any questions. Thank you for the opportunity to testify. Mahalo.
Good morning, Chair Hashem, Vice Chair Morikawa, and members of the committees. My name is Emery Kaler, and I'm here to testify in support of HB 1817, relating to creating a bag limit for the ama fish. One of the things that I have experienced was cooking the ama fish because I got to see it. Although it was dead, it was still cool to actually see in person because I'd never seen one before. So this is why we should add a bill to protect them. We already have a law for spawning season, but then after that, you can just catch as much as you want. Bag limits for the ama have been implemented in Hilo Bay to promote sustainable fishing and protect marine biodiversity. They have seen their ama population increase dramatically. Now, Hilo Bay has a better balance between fishing and protecting the ocean, helping both people and the environment. Hilo Bay's bag limit for the ama fish has worked, and that is why I feel we need a bill for all of Hawaii. If this bill does not pass, then the ama's population will continue to decrease and the fish will possibly go extinct. These reasons are why I support HB 1817. I'm available for any questions. Thank you for the opportunity to testify. Have a great day. Mahalo.
Anybody else?
Aloha kako. Mahalo no keia opportunity to talk to you guys, politicians. I'm Kanaloa Bishop from Waihapakai. We support HB 1817. We're subsistence fishermen, and we feel like this species has been in great decline for a very long time now. And it's really unfortunate that our up-and-coming generations don't have the opportunity to fish for these species as my uncles and grandparents had. And this is one attempt to try to curb that decline of population. Of course, habitat restoration would be epic, although those things take a long time. So we're hoping that this bill would put a little bit of help to this species. I think 10 fish per person is pretty reasonable if we just intend to eat them. Commercial activity, that's another story, but we hope you support this bill so that we may have these species around for much longer so that our families can eat them for many more generations. Thank you.
Is there anybody else in the room wishing to testify? Seeing none. Anybody on Zoom? Nobody on Zoom. So that's all the people that we have registered to testify. Is there members? Are there any questions? Representative Iwamoto.
Thank you, Chair. For DLNR, thank you for pointing out that restoring the ecosystem. You mentioned, I guess there's some water flowing from the mountain into the ocean in Chair's district. What caused the water to stop flowing?
Well, that was an interesting situation where when the highway was expanded, the groundwater flow was cut off and diverted to what was believed to be into the sewage system. But we see this for agricultural uses, all sorts of uses throughout the state where water flows are diverted, and where we once had thriving estuaries, no longer have those freshwater flows.
Okay, can I also ask a follow-up question? So regarding, I think there was some testimony speaking about Hawaiian cultural taking of resources. There's an exemption, right, across the board that for traditional uses, the bag limit wouldn't apply.
The Constitution allows the practice, Hawaiian practices. So yeah, that's across the board. If you are cited, it can be problematic to have to go to court and defend your constitutional rights. But you're correct. Yeah.
Okay,
it's protected. Yes.
Okay, thank you. And also, is it 10 per day or 10 per season? I don't know what the bag limit is. What is it?
Daily.
Oh, daily, 10 a day. Sorry, thank you.
Thank you.
Representative Shimizu.
Thank you, Chair. DLNR. Obviously, this is a grave concern. Besides establishing this bag limit, are there other things that are happening, like cultivation or even aquaculture to save this species? Do you know?
Yeah, there's quite a few efforts of Hawaiian fish pond revitalization and growing ama for fish pond production. So that's happening throughout the state and growing.
That's great to hear. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Anybody else has any questions?
I have a question. Sorry, just
Stay up there.
because I guess the bill isn't clear about the bag limit, daily bag limit of 10 ama per person during the open season. That's why she was asking that. And then secondly, the gathering rights pertains only to Native Hawaiian people, is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, now the only problem I would have with this bill is every island is different. And we're gonna hear if this hits, it would affect Kauai, it would affect Molokai, Lanai, and they're probably not having issues, it's probably here. So I just, that's my concern, I'm just wondering if your rules could just address critical areas.
Okay, and that's why we like to go out and talk to the fishing communities to get their input before, anything gets put into the regulations.
So this bill would hurt your ability to do that unless it could be worded differently?
Yeah, if it's set in statute, like the bag limit amount is set in statute, then we can't change that in regulations, but if it was left open, then we could, do the stakeholder engagement and figure that out and what works for each place.
And you know that these children that came up to testify are very passionate about their area.
Yes, and we share that passion.
Right, thank you very much.
Okay, good job. Any other questions?
Yes, so to Vice Chair's point, and hearing the testimony from a specific community, is this something that you can take on, or can you implement a bag limit on your own for a certain area? Do you have that power already?
Yeah, we have the authority. It does take time. We go through the Chapter 91 rulemaking process. Best case scenario, that could take 9 months, but if you add stakeholder engagement, holding meetings on different islands, that could extend, another year to, especially if there's controversy in terms of what the bag limit should be for a place, that just delays the process. But we do have that authority.
Okay.
I have a question. Can you speak about Hilo Bay and their bag limit and how that became successful?
Yeah, I'll have to get back to you on that. I'm not sure where that bag limit came from. We used to have a stock enhancement program in Hilo Bay where we'd raise ama and introduce it back into, I think that's, I'm trying to remember the stream there, Waikoloa, yeah, I can't remember the name of the stream. And so it might have been developed during that time to preserve the fish that we were putting out, so fishers can all have a chance to catch them. We're in the process of getting that program going again, but it could be related to that history, but I'll have to get back to you on.
Thank you very much. Members, any more questions? See none, we are moving on. Next up, we have HB 2056, making appropriations to the city and county of Honolulu. First up, we have Hawaii State Department of Education in person. They here. Support. City and County of Honolulu, not here. Oh, here.
Good morning,
Okay, good.
DHLM will stand on written testimony, but happy to.
Thank you. Next up, we have individual DLNR. And wait, no, this is 20, wait. Nobody answers? Sorry, that's all the people that we have registered to testify. Is there anybody else wishing to testify? Seeing none, members, are there any questions?
Question for the county.
Representative Iwamoto.
Thank you. I was really happy to have the opportunity to read all of these acts from 2017, 2018, and read the history of how the county used to be responsible for Department of Education facilities. And these acts transferred a lot of those expensive costs to the state. So I'm kind of surprised that we alleviated a lot of the expense that the counties were picking up. And now we have to pay the right to continue paying for these expenses. Isn't there a way for the county just to say thank you so much to the state for taking all these costs on? We're gonna manage the transfer of title.
I appreciate the question. Just for the record, I'm Gavin Thornton, Housing Policy Director at Department of Housing and Land Management, and appreciate the opportunity to be here and for you to consider this. I'm afraid I'm not familiar with that history, and so I don't have any facts or data on expenses that we're maybe saving on now. I would be happy to dig into that and see what I can find out. All I know is that the city and county many years ago was asked to transfer these lands, and it's an expensive and time-consuming process. I apologize that I don't know whether it will alleviate any expenses for us down the road, but I'd be happy to dig in and find out more.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Representative Shimizu?
Thank you, Chair. Do you know how much money is involved in this bill?
We've had an estimate from another department of about $3.25 million. So the city and county's already expended about north of $350,000 on the school land transfers. And I have some details that I'd be happy to share.
Is this a one-time amount or is this ongoing?
It's a one-time request.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Members, any other questions?
Thank you.
Seeing none, we're moving on. Next up, we have HB 2660 relating to Banyan Drive. Okay, first up we have DLNR.
Department stands on our written testimony.
Okay, next we have HCDA.
Morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Craig Nakamoto, Executive Director of the Hawaii Community Development Authority. Regarding our testimony, we've submitted testimony with comments. So maybe Chair or Vice Chair, is there anything you'd like me to sort of add for background or context to where we are?
Oh, we can do that during questions.
Okay. So just to add to my testimony, I think HCDA is in a unique position right now. Parallel with this bill, we're undergoing a master planning effort for Banyan Drive. Our consultant has spoken with a number of community people, and this summer we're planning a visioning exercise to include the whole community and sort of to create a vision for Banyan Drive. We think that's gonna be maybe late summer. And that is with the funds that were appropriated to OPSD, then transferred to us by the late Representative Nakashima. So I think we're in a unique opportunity because I think we can plan and try to establish the district at the same time. But I'm open to questions.
Thank you very much. Next up, we have James McCauley. Support.
Good morning, thank you, Chair, Vice Chair. I'm here today to represent my own personal interests, but I happen to be the chair of the Banyan Drive Hawaii Redevelopment Agency in Hilo, appointed by the mayor. But under sunshine, we would be required, before we provide official testimony, to have established that by resolution, which we haven't done. waiting to see how these bills develop. So in the future, I do hope that we'll be putting in official testimony. I note that our mayor and our research and development did put in testimony today. I'd like to bring something to your attention that is HCDA adjacent. My testimony addresses HCDA, my written testimony. But I've been involved in land use matters in Hilo, in Banyan Drive, in the industrial area for more than a dozen years. I find it gratifying to have this much testimony on this bill in support of something that's so vital to our community. But adjacent to this HCDA management of these DLNR lands is the fact to understand why we got here and to not let that ever happen again. It had to do with the statutory restrictions in HRS 170-136. Those have been addressed since the failure of Uncle Billy's, the failure of Country Club. Those properties fell into economic obsolescence because 170-136 did not allow for a rational land tenure. To have an absolute restriction, whether it be 55, 65, 99, or 999 years, is not good land use management for public lands. And if you look at polities around the world, they generally have a term that is rational for financing mortgage purposes for economic lands. Now, I'm only addressing economic lands of 40 or 35 or 50 years, but they allow for rollover, which is an extension or a renewal, to allow for the ongoing investment in these properties. So what I would like this particular committee, because HRS 171 is under your purview all the time. So what I'd like you to be mindful of is that we look at our restrictions under 171-36.5 or 171-192, the Hilo Economic Community District, that has special provisions as well, and to make sure that those are embedded in our future HCDA, hopefully future HCDA managed public lands. I'm available for questions. Thank you.
Very much. Next up we have Oha. Here.
Aloha, I'm on Zoom.
Comment? On Zoom? Okay. Go ahead.
Aloha, kaluna ho'omalu Hasham. Hope luna ho'omalu Morikawa. Amen alala o Kenya Komike. Omaho Sharday Mersburg Freitas. He aho pue o kule kele o puni me ke ena hakule ana Hawaii. E kua na mako ma ko kako aha o lalo ai hapa na wau I ke kahi mau mana o ko'i. Aloha, I'm Sharday Freitas, Public Policy Advocate with the Office of Foreign Affairs. We stand on our written testimony and I will also highlight some key points as provided in our comments. Much of the district consists of ceded lands and OHA has long sought to ensure that the state does not alienate ceded lands, that it maintains these lands to ensure Corpus's viability and availability for the future Lahui. We appreciate and recognize the importance of cultural specialists and lineal descendant members to honor this place and redevelop in a way that acknowledges history in a more balanced, restorative, and responsive to community well-being. Accordingly, OHA recommends being included as a member of the Banyan Drive Maka'oku Redevelopment Agency and for the governor to appoint the cultural specialists and lineal descendant members after consulting with the Office of Foreign Affairs and considering our recommendations. OHA respectfully provides these comments and urges the committee to incorporate our recommended amendments if it chooses to move forward with this bill. Mahalo nui for the opportunity to testify.
Okay, thank you. Next up we have Waiakea Ahupua. Is that you?
That's
or
me.
Terry? Are you Terry?
Yes.
Okay.
Aloha mai, Terry Napiahi from Waiakea Ahupua Crown Land Heirs. We appreciate this opportunity, Chair Hashem and Vice Chair Mori and the rest of our members. I appreciate this opportunity to share with you why the development of this bill. And I really appreciate our legislators, Todd, Leloy, and Matthias Cush, who had helped us to insert language in the draft to include lineal descendants, who has a huge portion of this planning. I'm a business major, economics major, also a planner in the Hilo County with expertise and also lineal descendants of the ancients of Waiakea Ahupua'a. There were 27 members of our kingdom that were given opportunity to apply for their lands, old lands of Kamehameha. My Napiahe Ohana was one of 4 stewards that managed the Waiakea that belonged at one time to Kamehameha I. Kamehameha I, it is his private lands because of the resources of that Ahupua'a. The fish was in abundance. But what was there too was a function of our ali'i, which is our first capital was Hilo. Our li'i that had a heiau called Kuaka'ananu'u. The Napi'ahis had a function in Moku'ola, the Pu'uhonua, and the heiau Kuaka'ananu'u that you see here, that we want to be the focal point, the center point of what you want to do in this development. My tutus hid that maka o Kuikalani on their land on Wailoa River. I found after 20 years searching, they took off the ceremonial stones from the heiau and put it in their lands, and it was wedged in the ground for over 200 years. Their mo'opuna found it and have kuleana to be able to reconstruct this heiau. But we see this as an enhancement to the development of Waiakea Peninsula. We call Maka'oku. We have been educating the universities, the agencies, of the importance of having lineal descendants as an authority because we know the land. We are stewards, and let us continue to be the stewards to talk about economic opportunity. I'm a business person. I own a business that shares authentic Hawaiian products, from the arts to the meats and to everything that we could provide. I would ask that you leave us as an authority in this group. We can share this, use this as a piko. Everything else will fall in place. Mahalo.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else wishing to testify? Seeing none, anybody on table? Them? On Zoom?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Aloha mai kako, my name is Seb Cha. Thank you for the chance to share testimony. I'm an architect and community planner based in Kona on Mokuo Kiawe. I'm writing to express my strong support for 2616 on the Banyan Drive Community Development District. It's critical that any legislation pertaining to the redevelopment of Maka'oku or Banyan Drive or the Waiakea Peninsula in Hilo includes lineal descendants in the decision-making process to reflect all stakeholders, not just some, as it's vital to include the perspectives of Hawaiians with ancestral roots in the area. I prefer this bill strongly to SB 2001, which will be heard on Thursday by Senate committees, which does not include lineal descendants in the process. So as an architect and as a resident, I want to see our built environment reflect Native Hawaiian aesthetics and history, and this is a watershed opportunity to incorporate place-based Ike Kupuna into the urban planning process for a Wahipana that included these important places that were shared in the last public comment. Important sites for our islands past, present, and future. Mahalo.
Thank you very much. That's all the people that we have registered to testify. Is there anybody else wishing to testify? Go ahead. Come on, please state your name and position.
Mahalo. Aloha Chair, Mark Hashem, aloha Morikawa, and Madi Koko. My name is Kanoi Uluvehi Anuhea Case. My position is in strong support for this bill, especially as it honors Maka'oku as the original place name of this Banyan Drive development area. And it also honors lineal descendants as being part of the authority group, and also not recommending that it be an advisory, but just to be specific, especially to be part of an authority and part of the decision-making processes that will occur with all stakeholders. I am a co-founder of the Nava'i Ho'olanui Lapa'au Foundation that's in process of being formally recognized as a 501c3. And our initiatives is to help promote Aloha Aina initiatives on our moku and hopefully statewide. And by doing so, we support the Waiakea Ahupua'a Crown Land heirs as we secure our land bases back to the people, that's one of the major initiatives that's gonna be pushed forth through this foundation. I'd like to honor the voices of our kupuna today. So with the next few minutes, I'm gonna share what importance that is by saying the names of my kupuna.
We have to continue on. Can you sum up your testimony?
I'm gonna sum it up and I'm gonna close it by telling you who I come from, where I come from, why I come from there, and why it's important that we stand in this room. My mo'oku auhau, from my paternal father's side, descend from Avini Valley. We are the protectors of Kamehameha who raised him and protected him from his fate. I also stand in descendants of Waipio and Waimanu Valley, who are descendants of Kekuhaupio. I also stand on the descendants of Keawe Nui Umi, Keawe Ike Kahi Ali'ia o Kamoku, Kea Amoku, and Kaloku o Kamaile, and Maka'aka Kamaka He Kuli. The firstborn son of Kea'ua, Kalani Ku Pua, Pa'i Kalani Nui, Ahia Lapa Lapa. So if I have not been able to close as standing as a lineal descendants advocating for supporting this bill, then I had failed to do my duty today. So I mahalo for your support and please take righteous decisions. Mahalo.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there anybody else wishing to testify? Seeing none, members, are there any questions? Representative Shimizu?
The woman in the green that came up here.
Terry?
I'm sorry, I didn't get your name.
Terry.
Yes, can I ask you, well, did you submit written testimony?
I'm sorry?
Did you submit written testimony?
Yes, I did.
And I'm sorry, your name was?
Terry Nafi'ai.
And you mentioned that you were involved with the mayor in planning or something?
No, I'm a planner. I'm a planner. I'm off today so that I could testify in behalf of this bill, which was, I'm a co-author. So I am not with the mayor, I'm with the planning department. I am a planner, but today I am Terry Napiahi with Waiakea Ahupua'a Crown Land heirs. If you have any questions of my affiliation, I'll be more than happy to.
So you are part of the county's planning department, is that what
Yes,
you're
I am.
saying? Okay, and do you support the bill?
Oh, yes,
Okay, and
yes.
as far as this bill, is it allowing you to be involved in the process?
This bill is, yes, as a lineal descendant.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Representative Iwamoto?
Yes, for Ms. Napiai.
Yes.
Thank you for your testimony. So this bill, the way it's written, only requires that there be one lineal descendant, which is a super minority on this body.
Yes.
Is that one voice sufficient?
Actually, I did hope it would have added more, because we see cultural specialists as a catch-all, which may not have direct knowledge and connection to the mo'oku auhau, the genealogy of that land, which my tutus have a function of. So more than one would be better, at least for us, so we two lineal descendants as an authority. I think you'd be setting a huge precedent even for the others that are not mentioned in the bill. This is the first time ever that lineal descendants would have been ever on an authority group. We would be enhancing the planning of this, and you would have the buy-in. And I'll tell you real quick, the finding of this pohakus that my tutus took off from the heiau happened hundreds of years ago. But the state parks helped me, with state archaeologists, helped me receive a registered number so that they can protect the stones that I revealed, that our tutus hid on their land. This registered number gave us an opportunity to protect the stones. The rest of the stones of that 60-foot heiau were dismantled and used as filler for the roads around Liliuokalani Park. And it sits under all of that area, as well as the landing that they call aisles. These pohakus, this heiau was a functional heiau. The replica of it, you would get the buy-in of the entire community. There's so much prostitution going on, drug dealing in this area. But ever since we had put the protection around these pohakus, people realized the significance. And with great respect, even the homeless will stand there, take off their shoes in front of the horse hitches of those stones and pule. That's the kind of action we have now. Where they used to do drug dealings, they do not do that there. They're just the pohakus sitting around protected by the state. That kind of action is not only Hawaiians. I find tangerines on my pohaku sometimes. I find coral pieces sometimes on that pohaku. You build this heiau, everything else will fall into place, I promise. You would have the buy-in of the entire state wanting to see the 60-foot heiau placed as a center figure and the center point of the planning. Everything, you build it and they will come. I promise. The change of the personalities of people, the respect you're gonna have of the entire peninsula will happen. Everybody's ready to hapai pohaku. They're so happy to be a part of building this structure. The children, I teach children, I give them tours. They want to hapai pohaku. They wanna be there in a long line, passing pohaku so that they can rebuild something that they can cherish and they can respect. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Can I ask another question?
Sure. I just wanna remind everybody that I will speak for myself. I support this bill and my intention is to pass it out, but if we don't make our deadline, the bill
Okay.
dies. So,
Understand. One question to HCDA.
just to remind people.
HCDA, Mr. Nakamoto, please. Thank you, Craig.
Morning, Representative Shimizu.
I understand the handing over to HCDA the authority, the control, and I guess my question would be, because you have such great authority and control, what would be the guardrails for the rest of us to besides the committee that inputs, what safeguards or accountability does HCDA have to the outside of HCDA?
Thank you, Representative Shimizu. It's a good question. So I'll be really quick because I don't want this bill to die here. So as I mentioned, we have the unique opportunity to both try to create the district, establish a district in the legislature, but at the same time, we are undergoing a master planning process. As I mentioned, this summer, we're gonna have a kind of a community visioning session where the community will have input. The result will be a community master plan. It's a master plan, not a piecemeal plan, not a piecemeal attempt. It's a master plan. That's gonna be a community master plan.
That's good enough for me.
So in that process, people are gonna have, that's the guardrails that we're gonna have. Thank you.
Craig, you can stay up there.
Sure.
Good. Quick question. WAL wants to be a part of the selection process. Are you okay with that?
So I'm okay with that. I think if we create a community advisory council and we have a composition of community members plus maybe one lineal descendant that's selected with input from OHA, I'm fine with that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I have a question. Given would you be open to having 3 lineal descendants?
I would be open to having lineal descendants on a community advisory council, to have this bill or the basis of this bill was really from me. So I drafted it for the Senate side and it became sent over to us. So any absence of any of the Senate is really my drafting, so I take responsibility for that. But the reason I did that was, I don't know if you know, but we have 5 boards right now under ACDA. 6 if this board is established, 7 if there's another district established under a Senate bill. So I've tried to keep the boards kind of similar in terms of composition because, and I know this is not a very good reason, but I try to keep it that way for administrative, administrative purposes, to keep it a little simpler. So having, I think, 3 members on the board might be a little much, but if we have 3 members or 4 members on that community advisory council instead of the board, I'm supportive of that, Representative.
Thank you.
Does that answer your question?
Thank you very much. Okay, we're gonna move on. Next up, we have HB 1718 relating to housing. And first up, we have Office of Planning. Support, and we have AARP. Housing Hawaii's future. Support. That's it, nobody on Zoom? That's all the people that we have registered to testify. Is there anybody else wishing to testify? Seeing none, members, are there any questions?
THLM, I'd like to support.
Okay, sorry. Oh yeah, you're on here, but you're not registered. Okay, City and County of Honolulu in support. Thank you. Members, are there any questions? Seeing none, we're moving on. Next up, we have HB 1842. First up, we have Office of Planning in support. Next, we have DLNR in opposition.
Written testimony.
And we have DAGS, Department of Accounting and General Services, and that's nobody on Zoom, right? That's all the people we have registered to testify. Are there anybody else wishing to testify? Seeing none, members, are there any questions?
Can we,
Go ahead.
can we ask OHA a question? I mean, no,
They're
they
not
didn't
here.
submit testimony, and they're not here, okay.
Okay, next, moving on. Next up,
I
we
have
have.
a question,
Oh,
Chair. I'm
go ahead.
sorry. Can I ask DLNR a question? I'm sorry, I don't know, so I'm asking a question. Why are we even switching this out? Because just last year we passed this bill that we approved Iwale to be transferred.
The department also is unsure why the swap was even done this year. We were not aware of it until we saw the bill.
Okay. Anybody in this room know?
Yeah.
Question for DLNR.
Representative Iwamoto.
I yield.
Okay, thank you. So regarding the Ali'i Tower, that's the building closest to us.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very close.
Yeah, the one with the parking, the public parking lot.
Right, and I don't know if this is under your purview, but when the renovations start here at in this capital, which we know will happen soon, wouldn't that be an appropriate place for all of our offices to be moved to? I mean, this is why it's so shocking to me that we're transferring.
The part that's hard for me to speak on is that there is a master lessee for that building. So the city and county has the property, then there's a master lessee, and then they lease to all the individual. My understanding is there are some county offices still housed in there that would continue to be housed even after the transfer. But in terms of what else is available, none of that information was ever made to us. We requested additional information last year when the bill went forward, and we did not receive anything to help us make an educated kind of decision about these things.
Okay, if I can ask a follow-up. OHA gets some of its money, in theory, it should be in practice, from the leasing of state lands.
If it is considered to be ceded lands, yes, they do get their percent. Yeah, and DLNR is very good. We actually do the 20%.
Right, so if we move an asset, if we transfer an asset to the county, does it lose that income
I don't know what the
allocation?
county is required to,
County pays too, right?
yeah, but I believe they pay too, so then they should, yeah, I don't think OHA is
Okay.
affected by it, it's just mainly the income stream to SLDF.
Okay, thank you.
Wage pays too. Thank you. Good question. Anybody else? Seeing none. Next up, we're moving on. Next up, we have HB 1740 relating to HHFDC. First up, we have HHFDC in support. Next, we have Collaborative and support.
Aloha Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, Matt Perlberg on behalf of Holomua Collaborative in strong support of House Bill 1740. Holomua Collaborative is a local nonprofit founded with the intent to advocate for policies that make Hawaii affordable for all local working families so they can afford to stay here. As you can see in our testimony, we have recently released the results of our annual affordability survey, that part of which identifies 75% of the 3,200 local working residents that were asked if they needed to move to a less expensive state said either yes or that they were unsure if they were going to move. And measures such as HB 1740 will help keep our local families here. There are always going to be out-of-state interests that are interested in purchasing homes in Hawaii. And constitutionally, we cannot bar folks from purchasing homes. However, we can implement policies that provide preference for our local working residents, and this bill is one of those policies. By authorizing HHFDC to create a new program that will incentivize developers to build housing dedicated to local residents in perpetuity. This bill will allow for the variances and waivers of the 201H38 program to apply to housing projects that sell 80% of all units to local working residents who agree to live in the unit for at least 1 year and are domiciled in Hawaii. This can scale up housing for our families quickly, and we have spoken to a variety of developers that say 80% is a number that they can make pencil out and still get these projects built. I'm available if you do have any questions. Mahalo.
Okay, thank you very much. That's all the people, ARP and support. That's all the people that we have registered to testify. Is there anybody else wishing to testify? Seeing none, members, are there any questions?
Question.
Representative Shimizu?
Holomo, please. You know, I was confused and I wasn't sure. Deed restriction is on the initial sale, so subsequent sales, resales, the deed restriction gets lifted?
No, the deed restriction will remain in place for perpetuity.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Members, any other questions? Seeing none, we're moving on. Next up, we have HB 1919 relating to development standards. First up, we have Climate Change Mitigation Adapted Commission. Support.
Aloha Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, Leah Laramie with the Climate Change Mitigation Adaptation Commission. We stand on our testimony and support and available for questions. Mahalo.
Next, we have Office of Planning.
We stand on our written testimonies.
Okay. Next. Hawaii Realtors and support. I don't see them here. Anybody on here? That is all the people that we have registered to testify. We have a whole bunch of people. You know what? Eduardo Hawaii Bicycling, are you guys here? No. ARP, I don't see them. Housing Hawaii's Future, you guys are in support?
Yes, Aloha Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. My name is Perry Arrowsmith. I'm the Director of Policy at Housing Hawaii's Future. Just want to briefly build on the written testimony that we submitted in strong support of this measure. We believe that lots of folks here in Hawaii, they need housing, and everybody who needs housing, they have different parking needs. I come from a household in Waipahu where there are 4 cars. A friend of mine lives in downtown Honolulu. He does not own a vehicle. This measure is built to ensure that we do not overbuild parking. We want to permit homeowners and renters to decide how much parking they need in their lives. And to that end, we want to let home builders gauge how much parking they need to provide for the residents, the renters, the homeowners who who are purchasing those units, who are renting units. Whenever an unnecessary parking stall is built in our state, it can cost between $70,000 to $100,000 for new construction. This bill is designed to impact future development. It does not impact existing communities. For that reason, we humbly urge you to advance House Bill 1919. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next up, we have grassroots initiative. Nope. Anybody on Zoom? Nobody on Zoom? That's all the people that we have registered to testify. Is there anybody else wishing to testify? Seeing none. Members, any questions? Representative Iwamoto?
Thank you, Chair, for Housing Future. There were two testimonies that I saw in opposition. One raised concerns with emergency, if you don't provide developer provided parking spaces, it pushes more people to the street parking, and then that clogs up the streets. But what is your response to that?
Was this council member,
Yes.
not Hodgins, Tamara Paulton? Yes, I was reading her testimony. I believe that in her testimony, she did mention that the county is presently not doing enough to regulate on-street parking. I do believe that in the case of communities, like I think in the case of Councilmember Paulton, for West Maui at least, right now there is a chronic housing shortage in West Maui, and there is not enough there are not enough housing opportunities, specifically apartment and apartment mixed use housing opportunities for residents in West Maui. We'd ideally like to see more housing opportunities for those folks, but right now, from what we've seen in West Maui, a lot of folks are overbuilding on lots that are zoned for residential use. So I think that's the issue that she's getting at when she discusses the fact that right now there is a lot of competition for on-street parking. We'd like to hope that, as her testimony mentions, we'd like to hope that Maui County can do a better job to regulate on-street parking.
Can I also express that one of my concerns are the impacts it would have on electricians, plumbers, small business owners, those kinds of professionals who actually own where their main they need their vehicles close by.
My neighbor is an electrician. He has his truck parked on the street. Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, if I feel like we're basically sending a message to that professional class that we're gonna not offer them as much opportunities to be part of these developments. Do you know what I mean? I don't know, how do we?
I mean, I'd imagine for an apartment, for instance, at least I can imagine my neighbor's truck would not fit into some parking garages, for instance, in downtown Honolulu. I'd imagine that within our housing, within the plethora of housing options that we have available, those folks have to look for housing opportunities that allow them to keep their vehicles.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
I'm not sure if they're allowed to park on the street, right? If you have a, here I have a question.
I don't wanna rat out my neighbor.
Okay. If you have a tour truck or some, I think it's a PUC sticker on there, you're not allowed to park, you're supposed to have dedicated parking for commercial vehicles. Is that correct?
I mean, I'm not here to testify on this measure, but I believe that's the case. They have to provide for.
Okay, thanks. That's right. Moving on. Next up, we have HB 1616 relating to agriculture. First up, we have Department of Ag.
Good morning, the department stands on certain testimony and offering comments.
Okay, next we have Farm Bureau. I don't see Farm Bureau. Oh, he's here. Okay, Brian.
The short joke. Thank you, Chair. The Hawaii Farm Bureau will stand on its written testimony supporting the intent.
Okay, thank you. That's all the people that we have registered to testify. Nobody on Zoom. Is there anybody else wishing to testify? See none. Members, are there any questions? Representative Iwamoto.
Thank you. You're with DAB, is that correct? Is somebody here with DAB?
Department of Ag.
Yeah, biodiversity, yeah. Question. In your testimony, it sounded like the research you did indicated that this bill would potentially benefit one unique person or one unique entity, this whole bill, to kind of make sure that they can get their use.
We narrowed it down to only one agricultural park would fit the standards identified in the bill, so that's Pahoa Agricultural Park.
Okay.
I'm not sure which, if we've narrowed it down to an entity, but
okay.
There does seem to be interest in doing that kind of operation there.
Right, and there was one person who actually expressed interest, and this would pave the way for them to get that access.
It seems like you're right.
Without going through the current safeguards or process to go through the application.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody have questions? Seeing none, we're moving on. Next up, we have HB 1774 relating to centralized access resources. First up, we have DLNR. Is this DLNR?
Aloha Chair, Vice Chair, we'll stand on our testimony and support.
Next, we have, anybody else on Zoom? Nobody on Zoom? That's all the people that we have registered to testify. Is there anybody else wishing to testify? Seeing none, members, do you have questions for DLNR? Seeing none, we're moving on. Next up, we have HB 1984 relating to renewable energy. First up, we have DLNR with comments.
Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, Carol Kale being DLNR, we stand on our written testimony offering comments and available to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Next, we have QC.
Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, Andrew Poppy here on behalf of the QC. We're signing on our testimony offering comments and we'll bring questions to
Okay, next we have Hawaii Solar Energy Association in support.
Aloha Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. I'm Rocky Mold with Hawaii Solar Energy Association. I'll stand on my written comments in support of this measure, strong support of the measure. Just want to note a couple things. DLNR offered some amendments that we support and wanted to do. But also want to say this is a major breakthrough. Want to express my gratitude to DLNR for working with us to find a way to get at this FEMA flood zone issue with solar development. Again, this is a major breakthrough and we support this bill strongly. Thank you.
Thank you. That's all the people that we have registered to testify. Is there anybody else wishing to testify? Seeing none, members, are there any questions? Representative Shimizu?
Ask you a question.
Sure.
In the previous committee hearing, contractor license board was concerned about allowing commercial exemptions because obviously commercial is much larger, more complex, and I guess maybe it shouldn't be included in this exemption. And you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think we would support, a reasonable, threshold on the size of the system that this would allow. For really large systems, yeah, I think you do need more scrutiny. The licensed design professionals that would be stamping these plans and living by them are on the hook for those plans and would have to make sure that they're compliant with code. So that's very clear. But yeah, there could be a reasonable, threshold on the size of the systems that are allowed for this. And I think we were talking about 250 kW, something like that would be a reasonable threshold.
All right, thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Members, any other questions? Seeing none, we are moving on. Next up, we have HB 1603 relating to agriculture park leases. First up, we have Department of Ag.
Good morning, the department stands on its written testimony offering comments.
Okay, next we have Farm Bureau in support.
Morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, Brian Miyamoto here on behalf of the Hawaii Farm Bureau. You have our testimony. We're in strong support of this Farm Bureau priority measure. This is just equity. Legislature passed the law which would allow lease extensions for all counties except City and County of Honolulu. So our Oahu farmers on the ag parks don't have the opportunity to extend their leases. We've talked about it before, farming is a long-term operation. We need to provide some assurance to our farmers who are on these leases. This is a may, not a shall. Department doesn't have to extend their leases, they may. We support new farmers. Why are we almost ignoring our current farmers, our established farmers who are on these parcels? I know the argument is there's a long waiting list. Well, our solution, our suggestion is let's look at private lands. Let's have the state and the legislature identify private agricultural lands that have the opportunity or possibility of being developed into gentleman farms, have the state purchase those lands, include into the inventory, and increase our number of agricultural parks. Why are we putting a time limit and expiration date on our farmers? We have a young farmer here on Oahu. Why are we saying, hey, just farm for this long? Originally, the idea was they would go on ag parks, grow their operations, and then move on to private land. Today, that's not the reality. So again, we are in strong support of this measure, and we just ask that the legislature include City and County of Oahu. The threshold is 25 acres. Our testimony asked for 35 acres. I think others asked for 60 acres. Why we even put a ceiling on it? Let's include all farmers and ranchers on ag park leases who are providing the food, feed, fiber, fuel, and floriculture that the state of Hawaii needs and wants. Thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you. Ahiki Acres. Support.
Good morning, Chair Hashem, Vice Chair Morikawa, and members of the committee. My name is Haley McKinnon, co-owner of Ahiki Acres, a diversified vegetable farm in Waimanalo. I stand in strong support of HB 1603. Over the past couple of years, our farm has invested more than $300,000 into our leased agricultural land, including infrastructure improvements and soil rehabilitation. This work directly supports soil health, reduces erosion, and strengthens the long-term productivity of the land. We aren't just food producers, but long-term stewards of Hawaii's natural resources. Stability in agricultural leases allows us to plan responsibly, invest in conservation practices, and care for soil and water systems over time. Under current law, Oahu farmers are excluded from this lease extension eligibility due to county population limits. But this bill restores farmer fairness across counties and supports sustainable management of working lands. Mahalo for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you. That's all the people that we have registered to testify. Nobody on Zoom. Is there anybody else wishing to testify?
Aloha, Chair Hashem, Vice Chair Morikawa, members of the committee. Apologies, we submitted written testimony late this morning. My name is Amanda Shaw, Agriculture Stewardship Hawaii. We are an organization that does conservation agriculture. We've been doing it in Hawaii for the last 25 years. This bill, we agree with the previous speakers that it would really bring consistency to the ag lease processes across the islands. And for us, one of the frustrations is that State Department of Agriculture leases currently go to the highest bidder, which doesn't really reflect the kinds of investments that we know good stewardship takes, especially in soil health, which can take place over many years. And so we see this as a first step to kind of reevaluating how agricultural land leases and parks are conceived and conceived for the public good. If, as we've heard, that they're sort of conceived to support beginning farmers coming on and then they move on to commercial properties. But in reality, our prices are so high that few people can afford to do that. So we need to re-envision this. We see this bill as helping provide that equity across the islands and to kind of getting us a first step in that re-envisioning process, and really just enabling farmers like Haley and others that want to spend the time investing in their land, that they have at least an option to continue on instead of just going back in the pot with whoever can pay the most. Thank you for the opportunity to testify. I'm here for any questions.
Thank you. That's all the people that we have registered to testify. Anybody else wishing to testify? See none. Members, any other questions? Representative Shimizu.
Thank you, Chair. Is there anyone from DAB here? Can you? Okay. From what I'm reading on your testimony, the reason that Honolulu was excluded is to go to the highest bidder, is that correct? Leases expire and you're trying to determine who gets the land.
Yeah, good morning, Kevin Moore, the Department of Agriculture and Biosecurity. I don't know, I've been with the department less than a year, I don't know why the prior act left Oahu out. I think maybe the proponents of that thought it would be an easier bill to get passed if Oahu was carved out, but all the ag parks are subject to the same rules for disposition, so it's a competitive process. But we kind of agree with the idea that Oahu shouldn't be different. It may be that most of the people on the wait list are interested in Oahu properties. That may be the reason. I could get back to you on that if you want something more definitive.
Follow-up question, Chair.
Sure.
So is that the only criteria, highest bidder, or do you consider like what the testifier explained their investment into the property and their standing and so forth?
Well, so they definitely have to be a bona fide farmer, but if a property is going out for the public notice process, which is not an auction, we use a competitive sealed bid. So you have to, each applicant would have to describe what their farm plan is, and identify their credentials for succeeding at that operation. And then they also propose a rent, and all that's reviewed by a committee to select the applicant that's presented to the board.
So there's more that goes into it than just the number then?
Definitely, yeah.
Is there some kind of score sheet or something?
Yeah, I think we have a score sheet that looks at all the criteria.
And is it is something of what the previous testifier explained as far as her existing operation and investment? Is that weighted differently or is it just the same as everything else?
So I guess I need to, if a property is going out for disposition, it doesn't have a lease on it. So it would be going out as if no one had existing facilities on it. So at the end of the lease term, anything that's there, improvements would become owned by the state. And so what this bill is trying to do is avoid that process where the lease and the lessee loses its investment because those all belong to the state at that point.
Okay, thank you, Chair.
Any other questions? Yeah, I have a question, Department of Ag. Do you guys resolve the sale of their leases? So there was an incident before where somebody got their lease renewed and then they turned around and sold their leasehold interest. I think it was like for $1.5 million because it's a long-term lease, right? So it's similar to fee simple. There was an issue regarding that. Did you guys ever resolve these issues? Because that's an issue that comes up too, right?
So I'm not familiar with the case you're identifying, but we do have our rules, and the newer lease forms say that the board has to approve an assignment if there's substantial consideration, like an arm's length sale. Then there's the board, one, has discretion to approve or not, and two, to take a cut of the consideration paid. It's like the sandwich rent.
All right. Thank you. Any other questions? See none? Members, we're moving on. Next up is HB 2171 relating to the University of Hawaii. First up, we have University of Hawaii in support.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. My name is Denise Yoshimori Yamamoto. I'm the Associate Vice President for the Community Colleges, and we stand on our testimony of strong support. Thank you.
That's all the people that we have registered to testify. Nobody answering. Members, any questions?
Questions for the university? Thank you so much. Can you describe maybe a recent situation where this has been an obstacle, a barrier?
Yes, that. So basically, at the community colleges, our focus is workforce. And so we have our hospitality academy on Maui. And part of the CIP project was to renovate a building, and we created hospitality rooms. And we were able to get from industry, they sponsored each
Right.
room. And what we wanted to do was to create more of the hands-on experience for our students, was create this lab, bring people in, have them be able to stay overnight. So that pretty much our students get the check-in all the way through.
Got it.
And this obviously is a step before they go into industry and intern. So that's actually one that is pending right now because we're trying to get the county approvals to operate.
Build to
No, we built it already, so we have a permit, but it's to open it to allow us to have people stay overnight.
having people stay overnight.
We would like to, but we can't do that yet because we don't have the proper approvals from the county.
Okay, so this would exempt all that. Okay, can I ask a follow-up question, Chair? It says any lands that the university system controls. Does university system control Mauna Kea?
That's technically.
Yes, it does.
But
It,
it's now it doesn't because of the
There's a hotel already up there.
Really?
It's for the staff.
lodging, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's probably a better term. There's lodging.
Okay, so you're saying there's no, UH has no connection to Mauna Kea at all?
That's what they're working on now. That does fall within UH systems. I'm with community college systems. I cannot articulate all the details of
This
it.
applies to the whole UH system, not just community colleges. And the way I understand the way things are right now, Mauna Kea would be included. So this would exempt, because it is obviously there are telescopes that are educational. This would exempt all of that. So I'm just pointing that out because we're gonna get a lot of heat on this bill if we don't specifically amend this bill to not apply to Mauna Kea. Okay, I just wanted.
DLNR.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I-
You should have left the room when
I
you
should've.
had the opportunity.
Definitely can reach back out to the acting chair. I think you'd be the best person to answer these questions. And
Will they still have to go through a conservation use permit, right?
I believe so, but again, I will
There's
definitely.
a lot of exemptions, land use commission, county, there's a lot of exemption. This bill is broad.
I'll take this back and consult and get back to you folks.
Right. Any other questions? Seeing none, we will recess. Okay, we are reconvening our committee on water and land. First up, we have HB 1817. Chair's recommendation is to pass this out with an HD1. I'm gonna push out the date that DLNR sets the rules to 2030. According to his testimony, it takes a long time for them to do this, so I'm gonna give them more time. And also, this will apply for only areas with no management plan in place currently. And for example, Moanalua Bay already has a management plan, they already went through the process and they already set limits. So this is not gonna trump the work that they have already done. And I'm gonna, the amount to be, the bag limit shall be set by DLNR by their rules. I don't think it's based upon DLNR, they said, I will let DLNR set the rules and the bag limits for what they, when they go through their process, what they determine is appropriate for the area. And defecting the date to 27/1/3000. Any questions or concerns? Seeing none, Vice Chair for the vote.
Okay, we're voting on HB 1817, recommendation to pass with amendments. Chair, Vice Chair vote aye. Rep. Baladi? Aye. Rep. Ichiyama?
Aye.
Rep. Iwamoto?
Aye.
Rep. Poi Poi, excuse. Rep. Woodson?
Aye.
Rep. Shimizu?
Aye.
And Rep. Souza?
Aye.
Okay, next up we have HB 2056. Chair's recommendation is to pass this out with an HD1 to tech amendments, defect date to 7/1/3000, and that's it. And we're gonna put in the committee report, 3.25 million that's the amount that the city needs. Any questions or concerns? Yes.
Thank you, Chair. I'm gonna be voting no. As I mentioned during my questioning of the county, I did go back and read the acts referred to in this bill. And to my opinion, the county saved a lot of money by us taking responsibility for a lot of education costs related to those lands. And we shouldn't have to give them more money for the benefit that they already received.
Okay. Any comments or any other comments or concerns?
Chair, I would agree with Rep. Iwamoto's concerns and I will be voting with reservations.
Okay. Anything else? Seeing none, Vice Chair for the vote.
Okay, voting on HB 2056, recommendation to pass with amendments. Noting the excused absence of Rep. Poi Poi, the no of Rep. Iwamoto, and reservations for Rep. Shimizu. Any other reservations?
Reservations.
Thank you. Rep. Beladi?
Reservations.
Rep. Souza, reservations? Any no's? Okay, seeing none, your recommendation adopted.
Okay, thank you very much. Next up, we have HB 2616 relating to Banyan Drive. Chair's recommendation is to pass this out with an HD1. We're gonna take HCDA's amendments to the bill. I'm not gonna read it because it's long and extensive. You can go see their testimony. And I'm also gonna take OHA's amendments and recommendation for them to pick the for them to do the selection process. And to defect this out to 7/1/3000. That's it. Any comments or concerns? Thank you.
Questions. When you say you're taking the HCD's amendments, I heard Mr. Nakamoto say that he prefers all of the lineal descendants to be on an advisory panel instead of a voting member of the body. How are you reading the amendments in his testimony?
So the way HCDA has it, they have several boards, right? They have 5 boards. He wants to structure it, and I agree, structure the board the same way, not the board, but structure this community development all the same matter. And how all the other special districts are structured will be the same, so that way everyone are not structured differently. So yes, they're not on the board, they're on an advisory council for the master planning of the whole.
Okay, thank you, Chair. I'll be voting no. I think that we heard testimony, a lot of testimony was sent in written, we heard verbal testimony, that this piece of land is different, I think, than a lot of the other spaces. And yeah, so for those reasons, and again, I thought we would be voting on the amendment sent to this committee that included having one lineal descendant on the vote as a voting member. But since that will not be happening, I thought I was gonna vote with reservations and I'm voting no.
Thank you. Any other comments or concerns? Vice Chair for the vote.
Excuse me, Chair. Based on Rep. Yomoto's comments just now, I thought the bill did have one lineal descendant voting member.
He's amending it.
You're amending it, Chair?
We're taking 8 CDAs, we're structuring this similar to how all the other boards and commissions are made. It is, well, you can go read through
Yeah, sure.
the testimony and it details.
Yeah, I mean, I support the bill. I'm just really concerned about what testimony we heard from lineal descendants that I believe should be intimately involved in the process.
It would be involved in the process as an advisory board to the master planning.
Okay, I'm gonna trust you, Chair. Thank you.
But this bill continues on, there's a long way for it to go. There's another bill coming in from the Senate that we'll probably so any comments or concerns? Seeing none, Vice Chair for the vote.
Voting on HB 2616, recommendation to pass with amendments, noting excused absence of Rep. Poi Poi and the no Rep. Iwamoto. Any other noes? Any reservations? Seeing none, your recommendation is adopted.
Okay, thank you very much, members. Next up, we have HB 1718 relating to housing. Chair's recommendation is to pass this out as is. It already has a effective date. Okay. Comments, concerns, seeing none, Vice Chair for the vote.
Okay, voting on HB 1718 HD1, recommendation to pass as is, noting excused absence of Rep. Poi Poi. Any reservations? Any noes? Recommendation adopted.
Okay, next up, we have HB 1842. Chair's recommendation is to pass this out with an HD1 and take the LNRs, pass this out with an HD2. Thank you. And take the LNR's amendments to fix the TMK, and that's about it. But it doesn't need. Any comments or concerns? See none, Vice Chair for the vote.
Chair, I'm sorry, Chair. I didn't get a sufficient answer on why this is even being required.
I'll tell you later. We can discuss it, but.
Right, short of that, I'm voting no on this.
Okay, I'll be voting no as well.
Vice Chair for the vote.
Okay, we're voting on HB 1842 HD1, recommendation to pass with amendments, noting excused absence of Poi Poi, noes by Rep. Iwamoto and Shimizu. Any other noes? Any reservations?
Reservations.
Rep. Belatti, thank you. Recommendation adopted.
Okay, next up, thank you very much, members. Next up, we have HB 1740 relating to HHFDC. Chair's recommendation is to pass this bill as is, because it already has a defective. Any comments or concerns? Seeing none, Vice Chair for the vote.
Okay, we're voting on HB 1740 HD1, recommendation to pass as is, noting excused absence of Rep. Poi Poi. Any reservations? Any noes? Recommendation adopted.
Okay, next up, we have HB 1919 HD1. Chair's recommendation is to pass this out with an HD2 and just to make tech amendments. It already has a defective date. HD2. So we're voting on, yeah.
Voting on HB 1919.
Excuse me, may I make a comment?
Yes.
Sorry, Vice Chair. Yeah, I just wanted to share that this bill in particular posed a lot of concerns for me. One, I'm an advocate of home rule, but I'm also an advocate of affordable housing. And I also see, that the counties could be doing more to address some of these issues. Given all of those concerns, I'm going to be voting with reservations.
Okay, good. Thank you. I understand your reservations. I lived in Tokyo and they have no parking mandates, but they have other rules that they have to govern to address those secondary outfalls, and the bill doesn't address that. So I understand your concern.
Thank you, Chair.
But the bill still has a long ways to go, and I think we need to have the discussion. So, thank you. Yeah, Vice Chair for the vote.
Voting on HB 1919 HD1, recommendation to pass with amendments, noting excused absence of Rep. Poi, reservations of Rep. Iwamoto, any other reservations, any noes, recommendation adopted.
Thank you. Next up, we have HB 1616 HD1. Chair's recommendation is to pass this out as is. It already has a defective. Any comments or concerns? Seeing none?
Chair, I'll be voting no pursuant to Dab's testimony written and then his confirmation during our questioning period that this bill seems to actually benefit one particular enterprise.
Yes. Good. I understand. Any other comments or concerns? Seeing none, Vice Chair for the vote.
Voting on HB 1616 HD1, recommendation to pass as is, noting excused absence of Rep. Poi and the no for Rep. Iwamoto. Any other noes? Any reservations? Seeing none, recommendation adopted.
Okay, next up we have HB 1774 relating to centralized access resources. Chair's recommendation is to pass this out with an HD2, zero out the amounts and put it into the committee report. It already has a defect date and effect amendments for the date. Okay, comments or concerns?
Chair, I'm sorry, I didn't have a chance to ask some of my questions and that's on me, but I believe that this money that's being appropriated should have a direct action besides creating a website, which is kind of passive to me, so I will be voting no on this.
Okay. Alright. Vice Chair for the vote.
Okay, we're voting on HB 1774 HD1, recommendation to pass with amendments, noting excused absence of Rep. Poi, the no by Rep. Shimizu. Any other noes? Any reservations? Recommendation adopted.
Okay, next up, we have HB 1984 relating to renewable energy. Chair's recommendation is to pass this out with an HD2. We're gonna take DLNR's amendment, and we're also gonna take Hawaii Solar Energy Association's amendments that they had on page 2. And that's it. It has a defect date and tech amendment. Any comments or concerns? Seeing none?
Yeah,
Oh,
sorry, I was gonna vote yes, but I'm sorry, when you do general blanket statements about taking a particular testimony's amendments and I don't have time to go run and look at what, it makes it really difficult, and so I'm gonna vote with I was gonna vote yes on this one, but I'm gonna vote with reservations, just in case I don't agree with those amendments. But thank you very much, Chair.
okay, it's on
Chair, I'm sorry.
page excluding landscape architects. But anyways, go on.
Chair, my concern is with the commercial being included and the discussion with the testifier that possibly 250 kilowatt is a good tipping point where exclusions should occur, so I will be voting with reservations.
Okay. Thank you very much. Next, Vice Chair for the vote.
Okay, we're voting on HB 1984 HD1, recommendation to pass with amendments, noting excused absence of Poi and Rep. reservations by Iwamoto and Shimizu. Any other reservations? Any no's? Your recommendation adopted, Chair.
Okay, next up, we have HB 1603 HD1. Chair's recommendation is to pass this unamended. It already has a defect date. Comments or concerns? Seeing none, Vice Chair for the vote.
Okay, we are voting on HB 1603 HD1, recommendation to pass as is. Excuse absence of Rep. Poi Poi. Any reservations? Any no's? Recommendation adopted.
Okay, last up, we have HB 2171 HD1. Chair's recommendation is to pass this out unamended. It already contains a defect date, but I'm gonna put in the committee report for the next committee. It goes to finance for the next committee to see if this includes Mauna Kea and to address that issue.
Chair, since I'm voting on the bill as it is in its current form, and because I read it as being overly broad to include Mauna Kea, perhaps I'll change my vote down the line, but for now, it's no.
Okay. Yes. That's any comments or concerns? Seeing none, Vice Chair for the vote.
Voting on HB 2171 HD1, recommendation to pass as is, noting excused absence of Poi Poi and the no of Rep. Iwamoto. Any other reservations? Any other reservations for Shimizu? Any no's? Recommendation adopted.
We are adjourned.